All right, so we got the championship weekend coming up. So let's start off with Buffalo versus Kansas City. Before I do, trying to get subscribers. So if you don't mind, I'd like it if you subscribed. If you got questions, comments, definitely leave one for me. So all right, let's get into this. So uh, Kansas City is favored by one. Obviously, home field advantage is going to have something to do with it. I think the biggest thing that goes into that is uh, uh, with Patrick Mahomes and enough players at the right places. Kansas City has got the best record in the NFL. However, I think anyone who's watched them would say that they are not a dominant team, but they find ways to win. They find ways to win consistently. I am going to take uh, Buffalo in this case. I apologize for underlining Kansas City. I'm going to take Buffalo. The model is pretty consistent on this. So uh, the simulation gives Buffalo a 69% chance of winning, which is going to come out to about a 5.5 point spread. So then, and again, that's purely a correlation. When you look at the raw numbers, it increases that a bit. The thing I would point out, Kansas City is not the high flying offense that they've used to have been. They are more of a ball control. They convert on third downs, and they're deep. They let their defense do a lot of work. You don't see a whole lot of high scoring. So when I look at that 17 to 24 point number, I would be shocked if I see them score anything much beyond outside of that range. The thing that always concerns me is when I look at Buffalo. Buffalo has a long and distinguished history of finding ways to lose. It seems to be in their DNA, and as well as Detroit. Sorry to hurt people's feelings out there, but if you're fans of both of those teams, you're probably nodding your head up and down, cursing under your breath because it just seems to be true. Josh Allen, in my opinion, is in fact the second best quarterback in the NFL, and I would not put a, a limit on on the capability of that offense to put up beyond 31 points. And as a matter of fact, when you look over here, it says, hey, they have the potential to put up a lot of points. And then when you come down here, you see the Bayesian adjustments like, hey, we think that we've been undervaluing both teams, but really undervaluing the strength of Buffalo. So uh, it's gonna be fun to watch just because you got to watch these two guys match up. The one thing I will point out, Buffalo beat Kansas City earlier in the year, as we see right here. But what I would point out, and I think anyone would gladly say this, beating the same team twice in the same year can also be difficult in the NFL. So the 1 point spread, basically the line is saying, hey, it's up for grabs. And I think it should be easily won by Buffalo. But given Casey's knack for winning and Buffalo's knack for losing games that they should win, we'll see. Let's take a look at more of what the numbers are going to say here. So, uh, when I one of the bigger things I'm going to look at here is how equal, how balanced of an offense are they going to have. That's one of the things you really see from Buffalo. A bit more stronger of that running game. Uh, Meanwhile, when you look over here at Patrick Mahomes, they've had to come back late and win a lot close games to really rely on Patrick Mahomes, which, quite frankly, having him in your back pocket's a great way to go. I think most teams would really rather prefer to win that way. A couple of things, though, that really come to that is you see this propensity for the interceptions. Buffalo's got a good defense. They're going to put pressure on him. They're going to make him win it with his arm. And when you start doing that with great quarterbacks, the they're either going to make it or they're going to throw interceptions. That's just the way that they are. The other thing I would point out is not a whole lot of big plays there, and then you also see more of these fumbles over here as well. A lot of turnovers, and as Detroit found out this last week, you're not going to win games with turnovers, particularly playoff games. Meanwhile, I come over here, they're doing a really good job protecting Buffalo. The one thing I will say is that's when it comes to quarterbacks who are fairly certain that they can win the game with their arm, both of these guys are going to be this way. I think a big difference is Josh Allen is getting better protection. I think he's developing to the point where it says, to where he's thinking, I can't win every game, but I have to make sure I don't lose them. And so rather than holding the ball, trying to make a play, I think he's either making a decision to run with it, so tuck and run, or throw it away. But don't take a sack and don't push it to where you throw interceptions. And so what I think that's doing is it's improving the sack rate. It's reducing the interceptions. Really, really low numbers of turnovers altogether. And what that's also going to do is it's going to start opening up. It's going to put pressure on the defenses because you're not turning it over. It's going to give yourself more chances to make some of those big plays. And that should be how the difference is. Again, this is how it should be. And I think the -1 for Kansas City is based upon, well, what we often see Buffalo and Kansas City do. So anyhow, it'll be fun to watch.